What were your favorite sports teams growing up?
My favorite sports teams growing up in Southern California were the LA Dodgers and the LA Lakers. My mom is like the sports nut in our family, so we had a fun childhood and there was always either baseball or basketball on TV.
If sports hadn't worked out as a career, what profession would you have pursued?
If sports hadn't worked out, I always wanted to be a teacher. I love kids, I love getting out there and just interacting with them, and so I think I would enjoy teaching.
What's a fun fact about you that people don't know but should?
A fun fact about me is I grew up in LA, but I'm really country at heart. My roots are from Iowa, and I feel like I'm this Midwestern girl, and now living in Louisiana on a ranch, it just fits perfect.
What's your greatest fear?
My greatest fear is not being able to be with my kids, get with my kids, have my kids.
Being a mom, what was the one thing that surprised you but now you love about the fact that you're a mom and have kids?
Now that I'm a mom, you know, I always like, you don't judge, but you just have these thoughts and like, oh, my kids are never gonna do that, my kids will never be that. All of that is thrown out the window when you become a parent yourself, because there's so many things that are out of your control. Yes, you can raise them, try to raise them properly, manners, all of that, but there's some things, kids are just going to be kids, and there's so many things that you can't expect would happen, and so you just kind of go with it and make the most of it and enjoy it, and know one day we'll miss those moments.
What's something one of your kids said recently that really cracked you up?
My 2-year-old, he's just starting to put together words, and he just turned 2, and we were at the grocery store, and he looked up at something and was like, I need that. And I was like, what? You just said, you know, and of all things to say, I need that, it was quite hilarious.
What's the one bit of advice from a coach that you got that you never really forgot that always stuck with you?
A piece of advice that I had received from a coach would be my dad, and I will never forget it. It's be the best you. And I love it because it's like, don't compare yourselves with others, be the best that you can be, and in that moment, whatever you're doing, be the best you. And it's something that I strive for, and you know, now I'm trying to teach my kids the same thing, and you know, every minute you can just kind of keep things in check by, okay, give it 110%. You never know, life's too short not to give it your all.
Is there someone you follow on Twitter that may surprise your friends?
Someone I follow on Twitter that may surprise my friends. I'm trying to think. Nobody that I can think of offhand.
Who do you really love to follow on Twitter?
Who do I really love to follow on Twitter? I love following my friends, my teammates, because I don't get to see them very often, so I can stay in touch with my teammates, and I kind of feel like I'm living the softball life, even though I'm changing diapers and fixing bottles. I'm living vicariously through them in their softball life right now, and off the field too as well, most importantly.
And what would you say is the proudest moment of your athletic career?
The proudest moment of my athletic career would be having a gold medal, being able to represent my country, playing the game that I love. There's no greater honor than looking down on your chest and seeing USA across it.
Through competing in sports, you've got to travel around the world a lot. What's one spot you haven't been to but would love to go?
One spot that I haven't traveled to that I would love to go would be Africa. I want to do a safari. I want to go see Africa one of these days.
What is the greatest Halloween costume you ever wore?
The greatest? I don't even know. I can't even think. I don't know.
Okay. When you were growing up, did you ever make a boy cry because you were so good in sports?
I can't ever remember making a boy cry in sports, but I struck out a lot of boys, and I could throw farther than a lot of boys, but maybe they cried, but not to my face.
Great. And lastly, very important, peanut butter, crunchy or smooth?
Crunchy, and the crunchier the better.